I'm Seth Lawrence with this expanded local newscast, streaming to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. The Clinton YMCA's annual Strong Kids campaign is underway, and the Y's executive director is hoping to reach new donors for this year's drive. On the WHOW morning show Monday, Rennie Kluver told Regional Radio the Strong Kids campaign is the largest fund drive they have, which helps support kids, families, and seniors in the community through scholarships to afford its programming.
Our annual Strong Kids campaign is the most important campaign and fundraising event that the Y does. Mm-hmm. And it's not just the Clinton Community YMCA. I would say probably over 90%, if not every Y in the nation, has some type of annual campaign. And it's really based off of the business model of a YMCA being a non-for-profit and not receiving county tax dollars or state tax dollars. We can get grant money from corporations and other things, and you can get state aid for childcare. So there are some places that you can get some revenue for that. But for the most part, you are basing all of your operational revenue on membership dues and then donations to cover what it's going to cost to run programs, operation, staffing, everything for a given year.
Right.
So that's why it's so important for us to fundraise in order to be able to continue to do what we do. We've started the campaign about a month ago with the board and getting out the information. It's still in the process of getting all the potential donors that have given in the past, those that have not, they're not even on our campaigning list, trying to establish those and get the information out to them, get campaigners to go and ask them. We've got people that donate every year that already have sent in their money without even being campaigned. We'll send out mailers, letters. Some board members will write letters to their prospects. We are working with a couple of board members are good at the technology type, and they're going to do some type of a video with pictures and video of different things going on at the Y. So we're going to kind of have more of a social media presence. We're working on trying to establish a way where you can text to give to the Y to make it easier for donations.
While Kluver is grateful to the point of a loss for words of the support that continuously pours out from the campaign each year, he says they need to start reaching new donors.
Really, we need to cultivate some new donors. We are so blessed in this community. I can't even explain to you. I wish I could just give you a list of the people since I've been here for 8 years, and I know they've been giving many years prior to that that have given to the Y in this campaign on top of paying an annual membership or paying their membership dues. It's people like that understand the importance of the Y and what it does for a large majority of people in the community. We touch a lot of different people, socioeconomic backgrounds. And so this campaign, just to look at all these donors, and I don't ever want to take them for granted, but they never blink. They never, bat an eye at when you ask them, hey, it's that time of the year again, you want to give your Strong Kids donation, and they do. So we need to cultivate some new ones. There's a lot of people in the community that maybe never know about the campaign. We've got a lot of members that have never even been campaigned. And even if it's $10, $20, those are what can cultivate into larger donors down the road. Well, I think once you get them started and then they get information on what the campaign is, and they can, and I can run through some of the numbers, just specific things. Let's, just say $37. If you gave a gift of $37, that would pay for a child to go to camp for a day. And so it kind of puts things in perspective and then I could say, well, just alone last year, we gave over $8,000 in scholarship for Camp Osage. So $8,000 we have to come up with, we eat unless this campaign helps us out,
right,
to allow us to offer these programs to kids that if we didn't have special scholarships for them to come to camp, they would not be there. And so that's the importance of it. And so, we could go through and say, just even, we know how important swim lessons are for kids, for adults. If you know how to swim, it could save your life or someone else's life. Well, you could say, well, X amount of money helps a kid for a whole session of swim lessons. I mean, what better gift to that is to help with them getting skills that could save their life.
The Strong Kids campaign seeks to raise roughly $100,000 each year. Kluver says while sometimes he wonders if they'll make that, they most often do.
We need to be able to cultivate. We got to reach more people. Social media is one of the biggest ones. Mm-hmm. You and I talking right here as well. And then we have to be able to tell the story. And that's what's important too with the board members and campaigners is it's one thing just to go up to someone and say, hey, would you like to donate to this campaign? But to really give them a heartfelt reason why you are actually feel so strongly that you want that person to give their hard-earned money over to an organization. I thought last year was going to be a challenging year with the whole thing with COVID, but I was surprised. We had an excellent, our goal is 100,000 every year, and that doesn't even cover all the scholarship money, that over 130,000 that we'll give out. But if we can get close to 100,000, that is such a huge benefit to our organization. And I thought last year was going to be rough, but we did a lot better than what I anticipated.
With the harvest in Central Illinois in full swing, Kluver reminds those in agriculture of the Acres for Kids program, which allows producers the opportunity to plant seed in their fields that at the harvest season partially goes back to the YMCA and is also a part of the Strong Kids campaign. The Blue Ridge Soccer program has been helping at the Ham and Bean booth of the Apple and Pork Festival for the past few years, and it is helping the program a great deal. Coach John Flannel and his team's captain Dylan Coffey say the weekend is a great source of revenue for the program. Coffey enjoys the work at the homestead as organizers put them to work.
I love the hard work, and it's just helping our program build and get better. So, just a good thing in general. Just distributing ham and beans, trying to raise money for our team. This is how we get our funds for our team. So, we got to just work hard, and it's awesome.
Yeah, they're handing out the ham and beans. They're scooping them out of the pots, taking them to the pot for the distribution, serving drinks. You name it, they're doing it.
According to Coach Flannel, the soccer program has been a part of the Apple and Pork Festival for almost a decade, but only recently came to work at the Ham and Bean tent. He says they use those funds to keep up what he calls one of the best grass fields in Central Illinois.
Actually, we started out running the trash about 8 years ago and did that for a couple of years, and then we had the opportunity to step into the Ham and Beans tent, and it's been great. It really provides us the money to take care of our field, and we have one of the best grass fields in the state of Illinois. It can be nets, it can be uniforms, soccer balls, you name it. We just spent money on a new remote control for our scoreboard too, so it can be endless as to the need. We can afford the best of the best. We don't have to scrounge and cut costs in any way. We can actually provide the best equipment we have.
Blue Ridge was beaten by St. Joe Ogden last week in regional soccer action to end its season. Coach Flannel says it was a young team this year led by Coffey, who was his only senior. While the holiday season traditionally kicks off around Thanksgiving, a nationally renowned nutritionist says you could argue the season for sweet treats actually begins with Halloween. Dr. Jim Lavelle is author of Cracking the Metabolic Code and the clinical director for the Pro Football Hall of Fame Performance Health Program. He says parents of kids especially are prone to overexposure to sweet treats. He sees it all the time. People work really hard to lose weight, then gain it back in November in December.
The first thing that I think everybody really needs to get a hold of is that holidays are called holidays. They're not called Holla Month. I try to get people to first understand that concept that, it's great to have a holiday. Who wants to deprive themselves on Thanksgiving Day, right? What a tradition. You gather around, you got great foods and, the friendship of family and friends and holiday sports. All that stuff's really cool. But then it's like, well, I kind of blew it on Thanksgiving. Maybe we'll just eat that until Christmas. And wait a second. Now that Christmas is over, I got New Year's. And so literally I have had people over the last, 35 years where they work really hard to get their weight off and they gain it all back in those 2 months. And so the first step is understanding, keep holidays for holidays. They're really special. Establishing guidelines is important. The other thing that's important to understand is that when your stress levels are high, and during the holiday season, you have two ways that stress gets high. Some people have seasonal affective disorder, right? So, when it gets dark and you're not making as much serotonin because the darkness comes early, and if your vitamin D levels are low, and now you're one of those people where all of a sudden your mood goes down, the number one thing that helps people feel better about their life when they're feeling down is something sweet or savory.
According to Dr. Lavelle, we're expected to live around 4 years less now, and most of the population is overweight or obese. He says we need to understand how stress impacts our desires and cravings.
So the point being is, I think for a lot of people, when you start to feel those cravings and you're noticing that, say, especially in the evening, that, hey, I can't stop. I need something salty. I need something sweet. You got to evaluate, well, why am I feeling that way? Did I have a stressful day? Did I drink enough water? What can I do? Can I reach for something that's going to satisfy me that maybe, not going to be detrimental to my weight? Because look, we're still in an epidemic. There's several things that are going on why this is so important for people to focus on this during their holiday season. One, for the first time since I can remember, Americans are expected to live less. 4 years less, and this is pre-pandemic. Everybody went, "Oh my God, that's pandemic data that doesn't count." No, the data was pre-pandemic. So people are not living as long. You got half the population diabetic or pre-diabetic, and about 80% of the population overweight, and approaching 50% of the population clinically obese.
Dr. Lavelle notes that a lot of times if we're all of a sudden hungry, it may be because we're dehydrated. Get the latest in local news anytime from your computer or mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Farmers are adopting carbon farming practices to benefit their fields and their wallets. Planting cover crops and reducing tillage can address agronomic challenges like resistant weeds and low soil fertility, while reducing farmers' input costs. These same practices can also increase soil's capacity to store carbon and generate high-value carbon credits with Carbon by Indigo. Greg Wohl of Indiana is one of these farmers. He enrolled with Carbon by Indigo in 2020, and the benefits are clear.
The main result is lower overhead on equipment, labor, fuel cost. This is what we love to do, to no-till, to build our soils up, and to get paid for it on top. Carbon credits was a no-brainer.
Curious how much you could earn from farming carbon? Get an estimate in less than a minute at indigoag.com/radio. Fortify your soil and your bottom line with Carbon by Indigo. Visit indigoag.com/radio today. Terms and conditions apply. See program agreement for details.
Life is uncertain. Stop in and see me, State Farm Agent Jason France, on the west side of the Clinton Square, or click our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com and see how our full lineup of State Farm insurance and financial services can help protect your family.
Local farm broadcaster Jared White covers the local agriculture news you need to know. Hear his reports by downloading the free WHOW mobile app.
With SRN Sports, I'm Jim Barta. Dustin Hopkins kicked 4 field goals, including a 39-yarder with 2:38 remaining in overtime, and the Los Angeles Chargers rallied for a 19-16 victory over the Denver Broncos on Monday night. Hopkins, who injured a hamstring during the first half, grimaced as he kicked the ball and fell to the ground before being picked up by teammates. The ninth-year kicker was inactive for last week's game against Cleveland due to a quadriceps injury. The Chargers have won 3 straight to improve to 4-2. They are tied with Kansas City atop the AFC West. The decisive Game 5 of the AL Division Series between the Cleveland Guardians and New York Yankees was postponed by rain and rescheduled for this afternoon. The National League Championship Series, matching the Philadelphia Phillies and San Diego Padres, gets underway at Petco Park today as well. This is SRN Sports. There isn't expected to be any significant news related to concussions, roughing the passer penalties, or Washington owner Dan Snyder when NFL owners meet in New York today. Snyder's ownership of the Commanders became a big issue again last week when ESPN reported, citing anonymous sources, that he has hired private investigators and told people he has enough information to expose fellow owners and NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell. The Commanders denied the contents of the report, calling it categorically untrue and, quote, clearly part of a well-funded 2-year campaign to coerce the sale of the team, which will continue to be unsuccessful, end quote. Alabama loses so infrequently it seems to shift the shape of the season when it happens. The Crimson Tide took an L on Saturday at Tennessee. That pushed the Volunteers to number 3 in the AP Top 25. The Crimson Tide slipped 3 spots to number 6. This is SRN Sports.
Time now for a look at sports. I'm Seth Lawrence with this report. 3 Clinton Maroons cross-country runners earned all-conference at the Central Illinois Conference meet last week at Tuscola. The top finishers were Michaela Keppel and Emery Hemphill, who finished 3rd and 4th, respectively, in the girls' race. Drew Moser finished 7th in the boys' race. The girls' team took 2nd place as a team at the conference meet. It's off to the postseason now for the Maroons, where the top 7 runners will compete at regionals. The Clinton Maroons are on the first winning streak in the Ron Bass era at Clinton High School, and with 2 conference victories in back-to-back weeks, they will be looking to keep rolling this Friday night at Sullivan. Before that game, though, Coach Bass says his team struggled at times on a wet Friday night against Meridian, most disappointed in the ability to get the ball in the end zone at several junctures.
Yeah, I mean, we were knocking at the door a couple times, and we just didn't get it in, and that was what was disappointing, especially in the first half. You know, and I hats off to Meridian. They came out, they were ready to play, and they were hungry, and I felt like they were hungrier than we were, especially in the first half. So that was what we talked about during halftime, about being hungry and wanting it more than your opponent, and the kids came out and they responded well.
Coach Bass continues to be pleased with his front line and tailback Tristan Potts for running hard with the defense, knowing what's coming, especially on a wet night like Friday.
Tristan Potts running the ball, and up front we did good. Maybe probably not as good as we did last week, but you know, when it's a rainy situation and they know that number 20 is getting the ball, and here it comes, and they're still not able to stop it on a consistent basis. I think that's huge. This is a lot for our offensive line. This is a lot for Tristan, you know, because we were very limited in what we could do. I mean, we really couldn't throw the ball. Even if we had good weather conditions today, we were going to be limited in how much we could throw it. And so Tristan stepped up, and so did our offensive line.
Coach Bass preached to his team prior to the game Friday, finishing the season strong. He says they'll have a chance to play spoiler Friday night when the Maroons visit Sullivan-Okaw Valley, who is 4-4 on the season and will be looking for that 5th win to be eligible for the postseason. Despite losing some very good golfers from last year's senior class, the Monticello Sages boys golf team had another successful campaign. Maddox Quick was a sophomore golfer on the team this season and says despite losing all-state golfer Tanner Bennykemper last year, the team worked hard in the offseason and came in ready to improve on last year's 8th place finish at state.
We finished 7th in state. We had a good year. We had some struggles throughout the year, but we ended off on a good note. And so we all like to kind of we like to play a lot. We all play almost every single day, actually. I mean, we're always playing together. We all play in some summer tournaments as well.
Yeah, sure.
Everybody's kind of got their own schedule that they do, but yeah, we all definitely stay busy. Expectations were high. We came off a great year last year, finishing 8th in state. We obviously lost a great player in Tanner, but we thought we could. Our goal was to make it back to state, and we knew we could do it, and we met our goals. As a team, we did good. We met our expectations, and overall, it was a great year. I know Will got top 20, which was really good for him. I think, I'm not sure the exact place, but I think he set a school record.
Did he really?
Highest place. So our team didn't make state. As a team, we got 7th. Last year, we got 8th, so I guess we improved a little bit.
Quick says the young golfers on the team stepped up to provide a lot of depth this past year and credits senior Will Ross for leading the team this season.
We're pretty young, actually. We have Cross, Reynolds, and Andrew Neff, and they both improved so much this year, which has really helped us. I mean, losing Tanner last year, we lost a very valuable piece, but them two stepping up and playing like they have has really filled that gap. Will is just terrific. Will is one of the best guys I've ever seen play the game. He's been a great leader to me. I mean, he's just every little aspect of the game he's going to be good at. And
Yeah.
I mean, he's just so, the thing I'd say about Will is he's so consistent. We're going to see him, do bad or do really bad. I mean, he's just going to be there all the time, and whatever happens, he's going to stay there and he's going to do his thing.
Quick adds, one of the other strengths of the team this year was their ability to pick up a teammate that may not have had their best day. He felt they were pretty balanced all season. The Blue Ridge Lady Knights defeated their DeWitt County rivals, DeLand Weldon, 25-22, 25-13 in non-conference high school girls volleyball action from Farmer City Monday night. Gracie Schaefer paced the Lady Knights with 12 assists and 11 digs. Phoebe Reynolds contributed 12 kills. Blue Ridge moves to 21-11 overall and takes on Cerro Gordo Bemint tonight in Cerro Gordo in Lincoln Prairie Conference girls volleyball action. Get sports anytime from your computer or mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Getting your pet's needed medications is easy with Covenant Animal Clinic in Clinton.
Yes, very convenient, especially because I live in Bloomington. It always gets delivered right to your door.
I've used the online pharmacy. It's so easy.
Click the Covenant Animal Clinic icon at DeWittDailyNews.com to learn more.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police splatter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
At Golden Harvest, our best skill is knowing how to listen. From our Gold Series soybean and game-changing corn portfolios to our expert insights housed in the Illuminate digital agronomy platform, everything we offer is an answer to what we've heard from you. This is how we listen.
Copyright 2021 Syngenta. The trademarks or service marks used herein are the property of a Syngenta Group company. All other trademarks are the property of their respective owners.
With SRN News, I'm Jeremy House in Washington. Airstrikes have cut power and water supplies to hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians. That's part of what the country's president called an expanding Russian campaign to drive the nation into the cold and dark and make peace talks impossible. As temperatures drop below freezing in eastern Ukraine, those who haven't already fled from the heavy fighting and months of Russian occupation are now facing a brutal winter. As the value of the U.S. dollar soars, other currencies around the world are sinking by comparison. This is contributing to skyrocketing prices for everyday goods and services, as well as compounding financial distress, especially in poorer countries. As Wall Street begins its business day today, the Dow futures are up 544 points, while the NASDAQ futures were ahead 120. More details at srnews.com.
Our 2022 harvest reports on WHOW are brought to you by Mancy Metal in Mount Zion, Farm Credit Illinois, AAK Mechanical in Clinton, Peterson Insurance Services in Clinton, Heartland Bank and Trust, the McLean County Farm Bureau, Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, Whiffles Hybrids, the Macon County Farm Bureau, Maroa Ag, the Illinois Pork Producers, and Jerry Toohill and your Central Illinois Stone Seed Dealers.
When it comes to selecting your seed corn partner, we know you've got a choice to make. At Whiffles Hybrids, we've made a choice too. A choice to remain independent. A choice to remain farm family owned. A choice to stay American. So, when it's time for you to make your choice, make a statement. Plant your independence. Plant Whiffles.
The Chevy Silverado HD is the official truck for your harvest season. This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick here in Clinton. The Silverado is the strongest, most capable ever. With 2 heavy-duty powertrain options, innovative towing technologies, and a large and functional Durabed, Silverado HD pulls up ready to help you get that crop out of the field on your farm this fall. Now's the time to make the Chevy Silverado your farm's official truck. Here at Baum Chevrolet Buick, right from the start.
You shouldn't let financial concerns spoil your retirement, and you shouldn't have to worry about what you'll leave your family after you're gone. If you set up a tax-free inheritance for your loved ones with single premium whole life insurance, you can drop your worries and enjoy your retirement. Request a single premium whole life quote at www.pekininsurance.com or contact your local Pekin Life Insurance Company agent to set up their valuable protection. They'll go beyond the expected for you.
This is Jay Peterson, your hometown Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. For a virtual or in-person appointment, call today at 935-6605. That's 935-6605.
October is National Pork Month. Celebrate by enjoying the best pork produced by Illinois pig farmers. From your sausage and bacon for breakfast to pulled pork or juicy chops hot off the grill. It's an entire month dedicated to pork and the people behind the product. Thank you to all the producers that make it possible. Paid for by the Illinois pork producers. Generations of commitment. I'm local farm broadcaster Jared White. In this special 2022 Harvest Report, we're visiting with DeWitt County farmer Cole Fredrickson. We have caught up with Cole Fredrickson here in DeWitt County on a beautiful, almost summer-like day. Shirt sleeves and everything here. But actually, we're catching up on the 10th of October. And as we catch up here, Cole, in DeWitt County, how's the harvest season progressing for you guys?
Pretty good. Everything's been going pretty smooth so far. Just a lot of delays with trucks so far, it seems like.
Delays on trucks, and that's why we're not riding in anything at the moment. Actually caught you as you're waiting for some trucks to get back.
Yep. Waiting for them to come back from Decatur. Bean line's been a little bit long here lately, but hopefully they get through that.
When you're hauling to some place like Decatur, and that's logistics, right? You gotta kind of time everything out.
Yep. It takes a lot of work and a lot of team effort to keep everybody moving and cycling through.
Seen big lines at the elevators this harvest, or is it just now kind of catching up to that?
Seems like it's just now catching up to it.
So really harvest getting into full gear. How far along are you guys here at Finfrock Farm?
About a quarter of the way.
Quarter of the way already, so got a pretty good start on it. So what are you seeing out there?
Everything's been fair so far. Can't complain considering the year.
Fair is good. And considering the year, tell us a little bit about the growing season you guys had here in northern DeWitt County.
I had a couple of dry spells this summer that seemed like it really stunted the plants, held them back for a while. Thought we were going to be pretty short on yield, but I think everybody's going to be kind of surprised based on what's actually out there. I think the plants in today's genetic lineup can tolerate more than we're giving them credit for.
It sounds like better than expected.
Yeah, based on the year.
Yeah. So, well, and you talk about the dry spells. I mean, we had a dry spell right off the get-go. It was a dry June.
Yeah, it was, I think, 4 weeks there. We didn't have any rain. So kind of shocked all of us.
Always puts a question mark on the harvest results, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So where do you think the yield's coming from?
I don't know. I think a lot of it has, like I said, a lot of it's genetics nowadays. Our researchers and stuff out there that we get seed from, they're constantly trying to get more yield out of the plants and make them more stress tolerant.
Well, there's definitely some stress to tolerate this year, as we said, and we did see pretty good end of the growing season. We always talk about August rains and helping the bean crop, and I don't know, from the guys that I've talked with, it sounds like it may have helped the corn crop too.
Yeah, yep, absolutely.
Got some of those